What is up, guys and gals? It's me, Thomas Fan01 here, and today we are back at it again with a ranking video, and today we are going to be ranking all of the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts figures, at least thus far, because I do happen to know there's one more Scorponok repaint coming, and I'm praying that they give us a Commander class Stratosphere, but they probably won't do that till they get the mess with the tariffs sorted out. But because the mess with the tariffs have already been sorted out, there's not really much to do about that. So, anyways, we are going to be taking a look at the worst to best, as we usually tend to do on this channel. And we're going to start this review off with the 16th figure in the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts line. I'm going to start with Wheeljack. He's the worst. He is by far the worst. I cannot even tell you guys how bad of a figure he is because of look at it. You chose the most off-putting turd brown plastic to make this dude. Not to mention, it's not rust brown, it's turd brown. It's turd brown. The vehicle mode is the only place for this to really shine, and even then, it's still a bit of a stretch. So, yeah. But anyways, we all know that this guy is the very last. So, now that we're done with number 16, we can go into number 15. At number 15, you all are gonna recognize this. It's Rise of the Beast Bumblebee. Reason why he's on this list is because, it's another Bumblebee. How many times are we gonna get another Bumblebee? I mean, we're probably gonna get another 2 out of Transformers 1 after the deluxe class that's already out on stores, which, by the way, you can go and pick up at Walmart. But we're probably going to get another one of those. We're probably going to get another cartoony version of him. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be surprised when they do eventually give us another 2 to 3 Bumblebees. So this guy, though, granted, he probably is the best out of the Bumblebees that have been released, sans the new Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee Volkswagen mold that's coming out in June. So, I can't complain about that one, but, it's just a Bumblebee. Again, it's one of the millions that we've already got. So, anyways, that's number 15. Coming in to number 14. Now, coming in at number 14 is a figure that I was surprised, well, maybe not surprised, but I'm surprised they did it in these colors first. Specifically, here we go with Studio Series Rise of the Beasts, Scorponok. And the reason why I think it's a little strange for them to have done purple first is because, that's not the color of these guys in the movie. The color of these guys in the movie were green, they were red, they were rust-colored, they were moldy, they had moss growing on them. So I think, we're probably going to get probably one more Studio Series repaint of this dude, and then it's probably going to be it for the Scorponok molds. So, anyways, speaking of Scorponok molds, coming in now at number 13. Coming in at number 13, as I said prior to this, would be Scorponok molds. This is Studio Series Double Punch. Now, Double Punch is exactly the same as Scorponok. I'm just bringing them both in for comparison here. They are exactly the same. Only difference is purple, red. Screen accurate, not screen accurate. So, yeah, that's where we stand with this repaint. So, anyways, coming in now at number 12. Yeah, number 12. Coming in now at number 12 is one of the first Maximals, and the only Maximal not to transform on screen. I'm actually kind of disappointed by that, and as was everybody. So here we have Studio Series Deluxe Class Air Razor, and I gotta say, I do like this figure because the robot mode is based off of concept art that we never got from the film. But according to said concept art, she was supposed to transform into her robot mode at one point in the film, but they decided to cut that for probably budget reasons. So I can only tell you that. Now, the reason why this is sitting at number 12 is because, well, it's Airazor. There's about 50 or 60 different versions of this mold. Not to mention, we already had 2 versions of this mold released last year with Ferric, and I believe they reused this mold for one of the millions of, I think it was a Pterosaur repaint, but anyways, I know we definitely got one of these last year, and we definitely did not need an additional one, but at the same time, I'm grateful that we have Airazor, period, and it's a studio series at that. So, coming in now at number 11. Coming in at number 11 is a figure that, if you don't have an upgrade kit for it, it's really, really difficult to look at. So here we have the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Scourge. This is with an upgrade kit attached, as you can clearly see. The original blade did not have this coloration, did not have these little extra bits on the shins here to give it that kind of more bulkiness, and definitely did not have that screen accurate head. But the reason why Scourge is here instead of further up in the list is because I had to give him that upgrade kit, and because it was going to look dreadful without it. So, anyways, now we're coming into number 10. That's right, number 10. Coming in now at number 10 is one of the Maximals that is probably the blandest of bland Maximals that could have ever been produced. Because, take note, you can still purchase this guy, or at least I know a few places I can purchase this guy still. But here we have Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Voyager Rhinox. Now, the reason why I call this guy the blandest of the bland, of probably the blandest Studio Series figure that's ever been released, is because these legs were supposed to be brown. Certain parts of this were supposed to be painted differently. And the fact that we even have this as it stands is not bad, but at the same time, I really, really, really wish they would have just let them cook a little bit more on the design of this dude. Not as in the design's bad or the transformation is bad. I just want them to paint it a little bit better. So, that's just my own personal thing. I have a feeling that they're going to release a 5-pack with, or maybe not a 5-pack, a 4-pack with all of the Maximals. So I have a feeling they're going to do that for the Rise of the Beast anniversary that comes up in some years. But I just pray that they redo this figure and give it better justice. So coming in now at number 9. That's right, number 9. Yeah, coming in at number 9 is actually a figure that I was hoping not to place here, but I ended up placing it here because I had nowhere really else to place this one. Because it just did and did not feel right. But also take note, we are in the top 10. The bottom 6 are really not one of those are figures that you may or may not want to pick up. These are figures I would highly recommend you pick up. So coming in at number 9, we have Core Class Freezer. Now, the reason why I'm going to only show off Freezer and not Novocaine is A, because I don't have Novocaine, and B, I also don't have Noah Diaz. However, if I were to have those two figures, I did review one of them. I reviewed Noah Diaz. Because I did review that one, I would place that one closer to Wheeljack, because it just didn't look good. And same with Novocaine, because it's exactly the same as this, just a different coloration. So, but with Novocaine, or not Novocaine, Freezer. But with Freezer, I feel like this design was heavily taken from the what was it? The 07 version of Frenzy. So yeah, definitely can say that. So anyways, now we've completed with the, not to mention this guy becomes an accessory for Scourge. So like if you fold him into a certain position, he can also fit on the truck of Scourge, and he also is one of his guns. So yeah. Now we're coming into number 8. Coming in now at number 8 is another core class figure. Here we have RC, and I gotta say, I do dig this RC mold, because this RC mold is quite possibly one of the most accurate ones I've seen. However, I must say that the main line Rise of the Beasts, I want to say it was like the armor thingy. It was like the animal armor dudes, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly, but basically, I could totally see that working out better because of the scale. This is a core class. This is definitely fitting as a core class, but I definitely would not, say that this is the one you should go buy. I am going to say this is one that I would highly recommend you buy if you're into buying Studio Series alone. But if you are on a budget and you were able to get the regular mainline version that is about the size of a deluxe, I can say that that is definitely worth it. So, coming in now at number 7. Yeah, number 7 is actually, and now we're getting up to the figures that I definitely would say if you don't have these, your Rise of the Beast collection is going to look a little sad and a little bit more dreary. So, anyways, that, of course, we're going to be taking a look now within it being number 7. Here we have Studio Series, Rise of the Beasts, Nightbird, and I gotta say, this is one of those figures that I got that I really was not expecting to find when I did find it, and I was definitely pleased and disappointed when I got it in hand, because easily they could have given this another sword, could have easily given her another sword, could have easily, like, maybe trimmed down this backpack. Holy cow. Like, seriously, what made Hasbro think this backpack was a good thing? But I can say the vehicle mode makes up for the robot mode problems. And the robot mode definitely doesn't disappoint when you're looking at it straightforward. Definitely looks like Nightbird from the movie. However, you move it any other direction, and also it's back heavy. You noticed I didn't even touch the dang thing, and it already was falling over. So I can say it's a good figure, but I can also say if you have the mainline deluxe, not a bad figure, but also this figure is a good one to have as well. So now we're coming into number 6. Right? Hold on, let me double check my numbers really quickly here. Yeah, we're at number 6. We're at number 6. I apologize. Had to double check my numbers. So, coming in now at number 6. Coming in at number 6 is actually my personal favorite figure from the line. And I gotta say, if anybody did not get their hands on this guy, I truly feel sorry for you. But if you chose not to get this guy, I 100% understand. And that, of course, is the Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Deluxe Class Mirage. Now, Mirage was one of those figures that everybody was like, "Oh, I don't like the robot mode. I don't like the kibble. I don't like this. I don't like that." And then once they got him in hand, he was like, okay. And then after a week, exactly a week, all of these backpacks started snapping and everything started breaking, and they were like, what are we going to do about this? And then Hasbro was like, all right, the run of this figure is done. No more Mirage, no more this. So, gotta say, it was a bad time for that. But the robot mode 100% delivers. It 100% delivers. And if you even turn it to the side, it still delivers. Even to the back, it still delivers. So I can't complain about any of the robot mode. The transformation is where this figure has its problems and why it's at number 6. Because the transformation is just kibbly, fiddly. If you feel like you're going to break something, you don't want to move it. Tabs and paint chips definitely happen, but it's one of these figures that it looks just so good on the shelf with the rest of the Rise of the Beasts gang. It just does. So, anyways, now we're coming down to the wire. We're coming down to number 5. Coming in at number 5 is actually a figure that you could have gotten not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 different times. Yes, you guys could have gotten this guy 4 different times. And the reason why I say 4 different times is because if you have multiple different stores that are in your area, you could have easily picked him up. And if you missed out on the opportunity to pick it up the first time, you could have easily picked it up a second time because it also managed to run out to Ross. Which, if you guys are unaware of those stores stores are department stores that basically get all of the excess stuff that other stores just don't sell, can't sell, or won't sell. So, anyways, that being said, you all know the figure I'm talking about. It's Rise of the Beast Voyager class Cheetor. And this figure is one of those figures that is just... They did not need to go this hard on these figures, particularly the Maximals, because none of them really showed up in robot mode for longer than 30 seconds. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I think the longest one in robot mode was Optimus Primal, and he was on screen for maybe a minute and a half. So, yeah, they didn't really need to go this hard for these figures, but I'm grateful that they did. I'm so grateful that they did because of the way that they turned out. So, seriously, Hasbro, you didn't need to cook this long on these figures, but you did, and I'm grateful you did. Not to mention the transformation on this guy is, it's not pure hell. It's not one of those ones that makes you want to gouge your eyes out. Or rip off your fingers or your fingertips going raw. It's one of those figures that basically you want to have in your collection. So, now coming down to number 4. Coming in at number 4 is actually a figure that I almost put lower on the list. But because you can go and get or you can, I don't know if you can or couldn't, or still can or can't, but this guy got not just one release, he got 2 releases, and this was one where the American market ended up getting it first. So, and of course, I'm talking about Transformers Studio Series Voyager class Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. Now, this figure is very, very, very interesting because a lot of people did not get this figure first time round. They had to wait till the second or third time round that they did this. Now, what am I talking about the second or third time? Well, the first time you could get this was in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line. And if you got it in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, like myself, this was the figure that you were presented with. This gun is from the mainline Optimus Prime, but if you were able to get a hold of this, then you were able to basically have yourself, the Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime before another country could. Now, that was the first time. The second run they did was they basically just redid Buzzworthy Bumblebee and repackaged it and sent it back out one more time. The third one was more recently, where you could get this guy in regular Studio Series packaging. So, if you didn't want the yellow Studio Series packaging, then you were able to get this with normal Studio Series packaging, and it was okay. But at the same time, just know it's one of those figures you want to have, but you don't want to go through the process of having to hunt down again. So, once again, have to say this figure is a must-have. That's why it ranks at number 4, and that's why we're going on to number 3. Now, number 3 is a figure that I totally was almost going to also place lower down on the list, but it ranked just a bit higher than Optimus Prime, and that figure being the Transformers Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Battle Trap. Now, this figure was one of those figures that was really strange in the beginning. Okay? If you didn't get this guy in the beginning, if you did get this guy in the beginning, you had yourself a piece of gold. If you were able to get a knockoff of him, great. If you weren't, then you were like lower than low. You had to buy the knockoffs. So, yeah. But I gotta say, this figure, it made several runs out in the public. And before anybody says, well, what are you talking about? There was only 2 releases. There were 3. Okay? Nobody ever likes to count Ross as a store, but I do. Because, Ross is not the worst store on the planet. And along with that Cheetor, you could also get yourself a battle trap. So, yeah. Not to mention, the transformation isn't terrible. It fits. Everything goes into its place together properly. It all works out. Not to mention, the robot mode is bad ass. I mean, seriously. Who cooked on this design and not to mention decided to make Battle Trap a singular character instead of Battle Slash and what was it? Battle Slash and Road Trap. Instead of having them become two separate characters, they made this a single character, which I have to say, bravo to Hasbro for that. So now I have to say this next one was a bit of a challenge to do because I wasn't going to place this guy higher on the list next as well, but coming into number 2. Coming in at number 2 was one of the very first figures you could pick up in 2025 if you guys were lucky enough to do so. And if you guys weren't lucky enough to do so, hey, that's no big deal. This guy is probably going to come out again at some point. So anyways, here is number 2, and here he is in his concept robot mode, Studio Series Ape Link. And the reason I say concept art for the robot mode is because, well, look, we don't know what he actually looked like in robot mode. We all know that he was basically going to be a repaint of Optimus Primal. We just didn't know what they were going to do. So the fact that they even gave us a robot mode of this, and they also gave it to us this way, I can't complain too much on that front. So, yeah. And not to mention, I gotta say, he probably comes with the most entertaining weapons of all. These little shanks right here, you can put them into his hand, or you can tab them into, I think this spot. Yeah, you can tab it into this spot when he's in ape mode, and you can make him, you know, the beefy ape that he was when he fought Scourge. So, yeah. Now, as you all are probably going to already guess, this is now it. We are coming down to number 1. Now, coming in at number 1 is Primal himself. Yes, it is Primal himself, and I gotta say, I dig Optimus Primal just a bit more than I dig Ape Link because, well, I mean, firstly, he looks like an ape. They did their best to do with what they could, and not to mention, I like the black and gray scheme. It just makes him feel so much more like I'm going to murk you. And on the back, also, if I have to throw this in there too, the back looks amazing. Like, let me grab Ape Link really quickly too and show you guys his backpack, because this is one thing I gotta say. I do praise the backpack and the chest stuff for Ape Link and Primal. So seriously, this is what a proper backpack needs to look like. So yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. Now, you also were able to have a couple other accessories with this guy as well when he came out first, but they were pretty much just upgrade kits for Optimus Prime and for Battle Trap. So, now let's get everybody on in here for a wonderful, wonderful family photo, even though we're probably going to have to scooch some stuff back and zoom some things out. So, really quickly, y'all know there's one. There's that one. Let's get a family portrait going as we do this final bit here. So, I must say, of all of these Studio Series Rise of the Beasts figures that have been shown off today, I have to say entirely, it is not without its due diligence for all of you collectors out there. If you guys manage to collect your stuff, you manage to collect your stuff. If you are not able to collect your stuff, I do feel bad for you. But also take note, there are many other ways for you to acquire these items that you are also interested in. So I'm going to tell you right now, the only place I can tell you that would probably be safe enough bet to get any of these would be eBay. And so just be aware of that. You may not be able to get these guys now, but you probably will be able to get them again in the future. Especially the Autobots. The Autobots are fairly easy to come across. I don't think Wheeljack's an easy one to come across, but I definitely know he's I know he's a little easier than some. So All right, here's the final tally for everyone. And yeah, so anyways, here's the final family photo of all of the Rise of the Beasts figures that we have come across on our travels here. And this is Thomas Fan 01 giving you my final ranking for all of the Rise of the Beast figures, to which, honestly, if you are able or were able to get a hold of all of these figures, all of these wonderful, amazing figures, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you keep them and you put them in your shelves and your cabinets and everything of that nature. So, anyways, this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.